Welcome back to the National Hurricane Center. This is Ken Graham bringing you live in where we work, right here at the Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. This is the latest information, 12:23 Central Time on Hurricane Ida. We do have new information. We've made landfall at 11:55 Central, right around Port Fourchon. Hurricane Ida made landfall in this area with that extreme wind. Landfall was a Category 4 hurricane, 150-mile-per-hour winds, pressure 930 millibars, and both on radar looking at it, and also the hurricane hunters fly back and forth right at landfall to help us out, really understand what the conditions were at landfall. So extreme wind, Port Fourchon, Grand Isle, extreme storm surge, just still a dangerous information, important information. Just because we've made landfall, there's no time to relax. We're just getting started with this thing because we're going to start pushing some of these hurricane force winds further inland. Homa, just a reminder, the force of the winds, you have that eye. You'll start seeing an eye even inland as it stays a hurricane. It's dangerous to be outside. So just be careful. I wouldn't advise it at all to get into that eye to look around. There's going to be debris, and that back edge, the back edge of this storm packs a punch. So you're going to have the back edge getting some winds in there as well. So be safe. The times to be indoors in your safe place. Look at this, mouth of the river, some rain bands, and look how large this storm is. You're getting some rain bands all the way over the panhandle of Florida, and any one of these areas back through Alabama, the Mississippi coast, even the North Shore, get some of those bands. You can get some tornadoes with those. So you really got to be careful associated with this storm. Let's look at the latest forecast, and we'll start drilling into some of those impacts. One thing we've been talking about, and it is important, we've made landfall, but we talk about a point. We talk about a point. It's easy to just focus on that point, but you have to look at it as all these impacts well outside of that. Some of those hurricane force winds stretch out 50 miles from the center, 52 miles was one of the readings we got. So these winds will continue along associated with that forecast. So hurricane force winds, you'll have the center part, the most extreme, but hurricane force winds can stretch well out away from the storm. So Jefferson Parish, you get some of those hurricane force winds, St. Tammany, possibly even Washington Parish, and even in New Orleans could get those hurricane force winds. So be careful, it's dangerous to be outside, and the wind gusts. The wind gusts can be life-threatening as well. 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts, that could destroy structures. That can definitely knock down trees and power lines. It's dangerous to be outside. Please stay in your home. Please have a safe place. So that's the situation. We'll see those winds, and it's not just right there on the coast, but even Baton Rouge with time could see some of these dangerous winds. Let's look at some of the information that we have associated with, I really want to show this. I mean, that's a large area of where we can see that hurricane warning. We placed it because any one of these areas can see those hurricane winds. Storm surge. Storm surge is a leading cause of fatalities in these tropical systems, and we're seeing it. We're seeing the water come up. We've seen several areas where we see that water. Look at this, 12 to 16 feet of storm surge from Port Fourchon, the mouth of the Mississippi River. The reason that's one of the highest values, because that's where we have the center of the storm. Remember, we have Port Fourchon was landfall right here. So if you think about that's landfall, anything along that center and just to the right, just to the east, that's your highest storm surge. That's the hardest push of the wind. But you also have areas, Bay St. Louis down to the mouth of the river. Some of those areas, 8 to 12 feet of storm surge. In the lake, through the Wrigley's, 5 to 8 foot of storm surge. So be careful. As far away as Mobile Bay, you can see 3 to 5 feet of storm surge. And I really wanted to show you this as well. We're going to take the time to do it because it really makes it real. So Phil, thank you for bearing with me. I think I'm all over the place, but I want to show you the values here. I think it's important because there's the water coming in. So if you look at this purple line here, that's usually the level that you start having problems. That you start having some inundation. Roads get flooded. So look at these values at Shell Beach, much higher than that. You look at above that, what is that, about 5 feet in some of these areas, 5 feet. Look over at Bay Waveland Yacht Club. I've been there many times at the sensor to look at the sensor and seeing some of that water. So it's real. That's what I'm trying to point out. It's real. Here's the other part of it. This is a life-threatening amount of rainfall forecast. So you got the storm surge, you got the wind, you can saturate the soil, put some wind on top of that. You can knock down a lot of trees, a lot of power outages. So these forecasts in red and the purple, talk about 10 to 20 inches of rain by the time it's all said and done. So that's just a devastating amount. Dangerous, flash flooding, have a safe place. In orange, you can get 6 to 10 inches of rain. That stretches up not just Mobile, not just the Mississippi coast, but even up towards Jackson as well. So these are areas that could be really dangerous. So listen to those warnings, have a safe place. I do want to talk about 20 seconds or so on generators. You know, power outages, and there's a lot of generators out there. Please use them safe. We lose so many people after the storm. Just because the storm's long gone doesn't mean the danger's gone. use generators properly, have them outside, have them well away from your garage, and never put a generator in the house. Together, we're going to get through this storm. We're going to keep watching it. We got the whole crew here. We're going to be watching all night long, as we always do, and we appreciate you tuning in live. You're working with us right here in our operations area at the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida.